Coming up on Spotlight, the Fast and Furious family are back for another high-octane sequel. I'll be chatting to Vin Diesel, John Cena, Michelle Rodriguez and Helen Mirren. Spotlight in association with Space 2. Sponsored by Glam Doll, bringing Hollywood home. Welcome to the last episode in this series of Spotlight, brought to you by Glam Doll, coming to you from the Gaiety Theatre here in Dublin. Well, coming up, I'm going to chat to Vin Diesel, John Cena, Michelle Rodriguez and Helen Mirren about starring in Fast and Furious 9.
And I remember meeting certain members on the cast, meeting all the members of the cast for the first time and being like, whoa, that's Ramsey, or that's Letty, or that's Dom. Like, starstruck.
It's the franchise that shows no signs of abating. Also, we'll be celebrating 150 years of the Gaiety Theatre and looking at some of the most memorable performances from an array of incredible artists. Plus, I chat exclusively to drag artist and Glam Doll ambassador Paul Ryder about Pride, Panto, podcasts and his incredible style. F9 is the 9th chapter in the Fast and Furious saga, which has endured for 2 decades and raked in over $5 billion around the world. Vin Diesel returns as Dominic Toretto, who battles yet another skilled assassin and high-performance driver, but this time it's his forsaken brother. Ooh, sounds good. Well, recently I chatted to several of the F9 stars, Vin Diesel, John Cena, Helen Mirren and Cardi B. Let's see a little bit of what we can expect from F9 when it hits cinemas.
Where's the bridge? Well, that was new.
Vin Diesel, you are very welcome to Spotlight. Now, F9 fans can see the return of their favourite legacy characters, including Dame Helen Mirren. How did you get Queenie, Dame Helen Mirren's character, back behind the wheel for this one?
Aside from the fact that I just love Helen Mirren, and I love working with her, and I feel very blessed and honored that I have the opportunity to work with her. And I did get my act together and I did put her in the movie. And I kept putting her, and I will continue to put her in the movie because I just love her so much.
And from speaking to Helen Mirren, working with Vin Diesel had the exact same effect.
He's someone that I dearly love and respect and feel comfortable with, and I think maybe it is because we're very different from each other. You know, not just in age, or, you know, I'm British and he's American. So we're really very, very different from each other, but there is some sort of strange connection there. Vin has showed himself to be such a sort of gentle and loyal friend. He really is, and I'm very, very lucky to have him a little bit in my life.
Dad, I'm not the only one with a family full of eccentrics.
Vin Diesel credits the late Paul Walker, his co-star in the franchise, who tragically died in 2013, for his spiritual guidance in casting John Cena as his forsaken brother in F9.
When I make Fast and Furious, there's not a moment that goes by that I don't think about my brother Pablo, and the need for me to find a quiet place so I can have a hope of hearing his influence or hearing his advice, like I have grown accustomed to do over the last 2 decades. So when John Cena walked into my Dom shrine, I said, to play a Toretto, you're gonna have to be prepared to go to some dark places. And I believed him when he said, whatever it takes. And that day I posted on the Instagram, thank you, Pablo.
We're up against Dom's brother. That's another level.
John Cena, lovely to have you on Spotlight. Now, you've been drafted into F9, a car franchise that has been running for 20 years. Did you feel the pressure as a new recruit?
I'm a huge fan, and it shows the staying power. So it wasn't like I had to I got to go back and do my research to find out what this is about. I was one of the young people captivated by the first installment, and I've watched ever since. So it was easy to kind of fall in line. I remember meeting certain members on the cast, meeting all the members of the cast for the first time and being like, whoa, that's Ramsey, or that's Letty, or that's Dom. Like, starstruck because, and knowing them as their characters, which is coming from a WWE standpoint. Sometimes I'll call the superstars by their real names, and a lot of times I'll refer to them by their characters because they're so convincing as their characters. And this crew has been together for 2 decades now, so you can't help, as an outsider being invited in for the first time, to be like, that's Mia, or Tej and Roman. Like, it's just who they were to me before I was able to introduce myself and have conversation.
American rapper Cardi B made waves when Vin Diesel posted a picture of the pair in London on his Instagram, breaking the news that the Grammy Award winner would be in the franchise. So how did she feel when she signed on the dotted line?
I'm like, why not? You know, I was a little over doing short appearances in films, but I'm like, it's freaking Fast and Furious. So I was like, get me there, put me on a plane. I was really nervous, you know what I'm saying? I was really nervous. You know, Vin Diesel, he always played like this very serious guy in films. So it's just like, oh, I'm scared. But he's just so nice, so dope. He makes you feel so comfortable. And that's pretty cool. I like that.
Finally, Michelle, the Fast and Furious must be part of your DNA at this stage. What is it about the fights and the fast cars that has you still along for the ride? And can the action be topped yet again?
I mean, when I sit back and I think about like how are we ever, if we do another one, gonna top that? Just as far as action goes, I mean, the things that happen in this film are just like, okay, wait a minute, this is a game changer for sure. Yeah, that's never been, nobody's ever seen that before, ever.
Plans are in motion.
This should be interesting.
So how do y'all want to play this?
Fast.
We going on. We supposed to stop that? Hold on.
Now we're turning our spotlight on movies with the Fast and Furious franchise. Gordon, you're very welcome back to the Gaiety stage.
Very nice.
The Fast and Furious, nothing can derail this film.
Oh, well, you know what, Lisa? We're into the 9th film now, and there is a worry that this series is starting to become a live-action cartoon because originally when it came out, it was a sort of a petrolhead version of Point Break.
Okay.
Because Paul Walker's character, very similar to Keanu Reeves, went undercover, but the setting being illegal streetcar racing, and Vin Diesel was the Patrick Swayze. He becomes enamored by, they become friends, they become brothers.
Okay.
But will Paul Walker eventually turn him in at the end? And then it wasn't really, believe it or not, until the 5th film when Viagra, what is he called? Franchise Viagra, to give him this proper term. Dwayne Johnson joined the team. And
I love him.
It really really took a different shape altogether. They became like a team. It was almost like kind of a Mission Impossible sort of vibe going on. And it was really that fifth film, if you pardon the pun, was the gear change. And since then, the ante has been upped with each sequel in order to try and create the stunts to be bigger,
bolder,
more
brasher,
explosive.
yeah.
But then physics also gets checked in at the door because some of the stunts are just so out of this world. And that's the thing about the ninth film, because everyone was kind of slagging it off Fast and Furious by saying they'll probably end up in space in the next film. And I'm not going to get into too much, but let's just say in this ninth film, that might be a possibility. So the worry is that when a franchise starts running out of steam, that it ends up becoming a parody of itself. And that has been a lot of the talk from a lot of the critics that I hold a lot of weight with stateside. They're all saying, this ninth film, you know what? It's not. This one is a poor entry.
But the thing is, they have incredible actors. You know, Dame Helen Mirren, John Cena's now made an appearance.
Yes.
So, you know, I mean, I think the names are huge.
Well, Helen Mirren, like, she's at a point in her career now where, you know, her career is safe. You know, she's won her Oscars, she's gotten all the plaudits, and she also wants to have a bit of fun. And for her, she always wanted to be in a big, silly blockbuster. Right. And she has a good working relationship with Vin Diesel. She shows up for a few days and she enjoys the trappings of being on a big summer blockbuster set. So she's having fun. John Cena, look, behind the scenes, Vin Diesel and Dwayne Johnson had a massive falling out.
Yes,
it was very much handbags at dawn, because Vin Diesel would very much be the type of, no, this is my movie. And then we've got our good franchise Viagra saying, well, I'm the one who injected a massive bit of star power into this and elevated the material. So it's with thanks to me that this is still going. So they were like the two alphas on set, and they had a massive falling out, so much so that Dwayne Johnson went off to do his own spin-off, and Vin Diesel was like, okay, you're gone from this series, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring in the next big wrestler come actor, John Cena. So John Cena, I think, is in this as a way to kind of just show Dwayne Johnson what he's missing out on.
But I think he's kind of fangirling a bit. He obviously is delighted that he's even in the franchise. You know, you can tell that he just is kind of a bit starstruck. I mean, they've done great with the names. Like Cardi B is in there.
Yeah.
You know, Ludacris as well. I mean, they're clever in how they cast it.
Well, yeah, Ludacris been there. He's been part of the team now for some time. But I think for an awful lot of people, because the Fast and Furious films, they're like guilty pleasures. They've always done extremely well. That it's almost worth hitching your wagon to them, because you know, it's going to give you a nice bit of exposure. Like, I don't think anyone comes away from it really tainted, but I do think with this film that I have a feeling a lot of people may come away from it going, lads, come on. Let's get back to the essence of it and lose the sort of the kind of the live action cartoon element.
Okay, so no more then after F9?
Oh, no, here's the thing. No.
We keep going.
No, well, the plan is for them to do at least one more. There is the rumours that they're going to do two more with Vin Diesel. And then there's a prospective spin-off, another spin-off with Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham. So if they can kind of cross-pollinate with all these characters and put them in other spin-off movies, I think you'll definitely see more Fast and Furious. But I still think, though, they need to get back to what made this work in the first place. Get back to the proper street racing, as opposed to, as I say, the pyrotechnics. It just needs to be just bring it down a little bit.
Okay, well, if they keep going, you and I might get a nod as well. So, Gordon, thanks very much for joining us here on the Gaiety Station. We'll chat to you again soon. Paul Ryder is a panto queen, a podcaster, a gay rights activist, a singer, and now ambassador to Glam Doll. Paul, delighted to have you on Spotlight.
Thank you so much for having me. This is the most glamorous interview I've ever done in my whole entire life.
Only the best for you.
And I thought I'd dress like a bit of a cabaret just to kind of keep within theme. So, you know, from here I'll go to the dressing room and wait for my call, my 5-minute call to the stage. But thank you for having me.
Not at all. You look gorgeous. I love the gloves. Now, of course, you have been working with Glam Doll. You're their ambassador. How's that all going?
Yeah, I think I'm the first brand ambassador for Glam Doll, which is kind of like, I love that. Andrea Griffin, who's the CEO for Glam Doll, she approached me a while ago to work together on something. And as June month was approaching, we kind of thought, what a good way to get together in Pride month and put something together. And obviously, drag is so glam and drag is so beautiful and so gorgeous, so that is, and the brand of Glam Doll is so gorgeous and beautiful, so it just works so well together. And the team are a joy to work with. So we've got some really, really good bits coming in the mix for June and then for the rest of the year. So it's an exciting exciting kind of collaboration to work towards.
Wonderful. Now, June, of course, Pride Month. You are performing a digital performance tomorrow at the Mansion House.
I am super nervous. I'll be hosting the whole event. We're going live to the nation from, I think, from 12 p.m. tomorrow. So yeah, I'll be stuck to the Mansion House, kind of hoping that I do as good a job as you do as a host of television. So fingers crossed. But look, the whole month of June is Pride Month, but it's not just the month. It goes right through to the rest of the year and through the whole year. The theme for Dublin Pride this year is community. And as a community, we've been through so much between the pandemic, between Black Lives Matter movement. So we're really, really pulling together this year to kind of see the end of the pandemic and look towards a new world.
Okay, well, that's really important. Of course it is. Your style, I mean, we have to start there as well. Talk us through your outfit. I absolutely love it because, you know, even being a drag artist, you've got to put so much effort into what you wear. It's part of the picture, right?
Being a drag artist, you're your own choreographer, you're your own costume designer, you're your own business manager, you're kind of everything in one go, and costume is so important. Now, I wish I could take to a sewing machine and put together all these looks myself, but I can't. I have a fantastic designer in the UK called Derek Purcell, and he owns a company called Bang London, and he looks after me wholeheartedly, and he's done the Spice Girls, he's done Little Mix, he's done Beyonce, so it's a bit of a step down from the bright lights of London to Tala, but you know, listen, gig's a gig, and he's amazing. But yeah, it's a kick to get to play dress up every single day.
Indeed. I saw you getting ready, actually. It's totally fascinating. I really was picking up some tips there.
I wish there was a team of people to do it. Eventually in later life, maybe there might be a team.
Now, of course, RuPaul, that is your big inspiration. So talk me through that. How much of an inspiration is RuPaul?
I suppose Ru's the principal, and the rest of us are the teachers, the students, the cleaners, the everything in between. Ru's the mecca and the god, but with Ru comes so many people over the years who've kind of transpired down and become our own ambassadors and our own people that we look up to. You know, you've the likes of Michelle Visage, you've got all the queens from RuPaul's Drag Race, but at the top of that, you have our queen RuPaul, who's not only done so much for the gay community, you know, LGBTQ+I across the nation, but also to make drag mainstream, to make what I do not weird, to sit here in the Gaiety Theatre with you, LisaCannon, on Spotlight, and for this to be a normal thing, for us to be doing this and not be, what's that weird man dressed like a fake woman? You know what I mean? It opens such a conversation, and Ru's programme and Ru's message has really, really done that.
But of course, you've really shone a spotlight on yourself as well with Ireland's Got Talent. That was a big, prominent role for you. How has that changed your career?
I wouldn't be sitting here today if I didn't do Ireland's Got Talent. I wholeheartedly put all of I worked hard before IGT. I did a really, really good slog of work and trying to make a name for myself as a performer. But IGT gave me that platform to kind of step up. But like with everything, you know yourself in this industry, you can't sit down and wait for something to come. So I just took that little platform and I ran with it. And 3 years later, I'm still here, still working, and still have a lot of goals and a lot of drive in this industry.
Now, of course, you've been using lockdown very wisely. You have a great podcast. Tell us all about this.
Influenced is my podcast, which I released earlier on this year, and I'm about to get into season 2, which is very, very exciting. And it's talking to people who I feel like haven't spoken their story, or friends of mine. I always kind of like speaking to friends. So I spoke to Valerie Rowe, I spoke to Zach Milne, I spoke to Ellie Kelly, who's an influencer, and I know their story from being friends with them and being around them. So I thought the world needs to hear this, and it's all about giving people that influence to drive themselves in no matter what aspect of the career they want to be in, just to give themselves a little bit of a kick.
I know we're way off. Christmas we won't even mention it. It's 6 months away. But I mean, do you think Sammy Sausages might be back? Panto might be back?
Oh,
Please
yes.
God, this is the home of Panto.
This is the home of Panto, yeah. Oh, yes, it will. It has to be back. And Alan Hughes and Carl Broderick are the most kind of like determined producers when it comes to this show and bringing a show to their audience who have been following them for nearly 21 years this year, I think it is. So Sammy Sausage is officially 21, and they'll be back stronger, bigger, better. I've not heard anything yet. All I've heard is that we're working on things, but I guarantee you I will be saying, oh yes, it is at Christmas this year.
Okay, please God. Listen, Paul, thank you so much for joining us here in your home, the Gaiety Theatre. It's absolutely stunning, and we wish you the best of luck with all your endeavours, and we'll see you real soon.
See you soon. Thank you so much.
Since 1871, the Gaiety Theatre has given the people of Dublin opera, musicals, drama, festivals and pantomime. And amid the laughter and tears, this grand old lady of South King Street has remained a vital and ever-changing expression of Irish culture and Irish society. Joining me now is Laura McGuigan to take a look at some of the most memorable performances that have graced this gorgeous Gaiety Theatre stage. Laura, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Onto your own stage, may I add. This is a joy. What a theatre. It's so spectacular. And you've had so many people on stage, but more recently, Paul Mescal, he was here before lockdown. Right before, of course, he became huge with normal people.
Yes, that's right, yeah. So we had Lieutenant Vin Moore right before, from January right up until the 12th of March when things shut down, and we were lucky enough to cast Paul in the leading role.
Wow.
And it was completely different to the Conall Waldron we all know from Normal People. It was Mad Porrick from Inishmore.
Wow.
So it was a very, very different role, and he was absolutely phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Of course, he's exploded. Oprah's
Insane.
Fans, the Kardashians are fans now, so you're very lucky to get him here on the stage. I mean, it's so impressive. Laura, when you look at this stage, it can take your breath away, believe you me. You've had incredible performances and, of course, stage shows here. So who are the most standout for you over the years?
Well, I suppose back in the day we had Bing Crosby, Julie Andrews, Ray Charles performed here in a film. Yes, we had Pavarotti had his international debut here as an opera singer back in the 60s.
That's incredible.
And then more recently we had, you know, Adrian Dunbar from Line of Duty fame. We had Jamie Lee O'Donnell. We've had Alex Murphy from The Young Offenders, and obviously Paul Mescal just before we
You had Cillian Murphy as well.
That's
didn't you?
right, Cillian Murphy. Yeah. We have Cillian Murphy, Brendan Gleeson, pretty much anyone who has made it big in the world of film, television, theatre, music has been here at some point. So.
Now, I suppose one of my favourites is Billy Connolly, and I know he took the house down
He
when he came, and sellout shows, of course.
He did, yes, right up to the rafters.
Really?
Yeah, and I think that's why performers love it here so much, is because when they stand on the stage like you are, they can see it's literally faces the whole way up.
It is just, as I said, breathtaking. It's the only word for it. Now, of course, you had the Eurovision here in 1971. Was that a proud moment to have, you know, I suppose, the Gaiety Theatre part of such a historic event?
Yes, so that's 50 years ago this year. And Dana had won the year before. And so 1971 was the first time that Ireland had a colour broadcast indoors. So it was a huge deal for RTE, it was a huge deal for Ireland, and of course then Ireland went on to win the most wins in Eurovision history ever.
Right.
So that was the start of a long thing. And we're actually the only venue that is still existing as it was. So Ireland has hosted the Eurovision before, in Mill Street and in the Point Theatre, but they've all changed now. We are exactly as we were back in 1971.
Wow, fantastic. Now, the Gaiety Theatre, it's iconic, but it's iconic because of the pantos. I have been here with my godchildren, oh my goodness, 8, 9 times over the years. I mean, it really is truly spectacular. Now, of course, sadly, you've had to cancel this year because of the pandemic. So what's that been like?
That's been, you know, it's been really challenging. A lot of the cast and crew have actually, they only know Christmas with the panto. You're talking the last 30 years of their life. All they know is being on the Gaiety stage every Christmas. So that's been really tough, but we can't wait to get back this year with The Little Mermaid, and it will be amazing.
And it's great atmosphere here, I tell you. It's so much fun.
Yeah, we have 91 shows every year, and so that's over the capacity of Croke Park. Through our doors, 2 shows a day, 7 days a week for 6 weeks. So it's insane.
I'll be back. Count me in with the godchildren. Now, of course, my final question is, of course, what's happening with the Gaiety next? I mean, you know, you're opening your doors again. Of course, we're going to have panto. So what's the future for the Gaiety?
Well, I suppose the last few weeks have been very positive, and we're really excited to finally be opening our doors again. 2022 and 2023 are jam-packed already.
Good.
So we will be back with a bang.
Oh, wonderful. Well, listen, Laura, thank you so much. It's an honour to be here on the stage, as I've said, and here is to another 150 years of the great Gaiety Theatre. Well, that's it for this series of Spotlight. Thank you so much for joining us over the last few weeks here at the Gaiety Theatre for your hit of fashion, entertainment and wellness. We'll be back again very soon, but until then, we're going to leave you now with some of our Series 1 highlights. From me, LisaCannon, and the rest of the team, we'll see you again soon on Spotlight. Take care. Bye-bye.
Spotlight in association with Space 2. Sponsored by Glam Doll, bringing Hollywood home.